come on. Hey, feel the rhythm. It's getting from the deepest of your soul. Now, use your senses, and everything will be easier than before. Keep on moving, funk is coming. Let yourself be, you'll become the star in this die. Spread your wings, fly to me, funk is coming.
Yeah, there we go. Here we are, Mr. Brian J. I mean, it's been away for some time.
Yes. Camera, lights, action.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad you're here. You accepted, to join in. I'm starting to feel, but I swear to God, there'll be some new people too, that I want to talk with. But so far, I mean, interviewed persons, it seems to be I was like kind of digging a grave, I mean, people which haven't been on the scene for quite some time and just popped up like zombies.
Well, you raided the grave to get hold of me, so.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it took some digging.
Yeah, I know it did.
Okay, so Mr. Brian J, you've been on the scene for quite some time, at least, in the good old times, and you were pretty active in conversation and stuff like that. My recollection is that even if you were in the same scenario, as mostly everybody, your main interests were not strictly religious per se. Like, that wasn't the, how can I say, the main drive, but I've always felt that was a good topic for you to expand on more social and political stuff. Am I completely off base, or is there some truth in it?
There is some truth in that, yes. I mean, I've been around. Well, I first uploaded a video onto YouTube in 2010. It was in response to a video or something that happened in the news, and it was something. It was the United Nations did something, and I put up a video objecting to it. Not in my name, and it was one of the. It was a kind of like a tag going round at the time. Hashtag not in my name. So that was my first video. And that somehow got me de facto into the religious debate, or the great debate community, as Agent of Doubt termed it in 2012, whenever it was. And yes, talking about religion, talking philosophy has always fascinated me. And one of the things that really irritated people back in the day was that I would not actually disclose my position in anything, because I felt it irrelevant. I still do. I still think it's irrelevant. What you actually believe bears no resemblance on your ability to present an argument. The fact that you may or may not believe that argument is irrelevant. It will stand on its merits, or it will fall flat on its face through lack of merit, regardless of whether you believe it or not. So I've always found that to be irrelevant, what my actual belief is. As long as I'm making a good argument, who cares?
So, okay, no, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just want people to go on, unless it's...
Yeah, what was the rest of the question?
Well, the rest of the question was, my impression was, that that kind of topic was like a was more like a
Oh yes,
screwdriver
it
for
was a door
you.
opener. It
Yeah,
was a door opener.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a door opener. My focus or my pleasure from doing YouTube when I was doing YouTube was more in the interactions and sort of like the social aspect. And I noticed on your interview with Chris Mouty, who is a friend of mine, by the way. Well done for getting him. Not that he had any problem. But, yeah, good candidate. Probably a better candidate than me. But it's your show. Um, bridge building. That was something that those who remember me from back in the day will probably remember a show called Friday Fail.
Called sorry, what?
The Friday Fail.
Okay.
It was a hangout. It kind of lasted all evening. It was one of those you dropped out, you went to bed, did whatever, you came back, it was still going. But you could hop back in again. And used to run those things all night sometimes. And it really was kind of a bridge building exercise because I had friends, people that I got on with, some of whom, like yourself, turned into friends on both sides of the argument, or the debate, as it were. And it used to drive me nuts when the arguments that people were having with each other got so personal, you know, and the insults started throwing, and it was like, you're not getting anywhere with this. Yeah, nobody is learning anything about anything, you know. Um, so that and a Minecraft server that I put up back in the day, the YouTuberverse. Anybody who remembers playing on that, it was a good couple of dozen people that were on that server quite regularly. Trying to think of a few. Headless Chicken, Geordie Weeks, D-Deedle, Rome Beans, Chepo, and Arsenic Cigarettes, as was. A whole bunch of people. We even had James Pope for a while. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there was a good dozen or so people, and I figured, the best way to actually bridge buildings and try and sort of lighten the mood, as it were, was to actually get people trying to build or do something cooperatively with each other. And I like to think that it worked. I mean, it worked to the point whereby the Friday Fail hangout seems to follow on from that when the server unfortunately disappeared due to hosting issues. But yeah, so that was it really. The social aspect and yeah, trying to actually, I don't know, engineer a little bit of social sanity into the great debate as it was.
So you were well, not pushing, but you were reiterating the concept of community, in your reply. I mean, you actually mentioned specifically Great Debate Community. I mean,
Yeah,
that was the way it was called, by the way. But
yeah.
anyway.
It was a community. I mean,
Oh,
it was very incestuous. You'd find the same people replying to the same people over the same things over and over again.
so I'm
You know,
I'm really interested in that thought. Uh, the the community part of a bunch of people, mostly randoms,
yeah,
meeting themselves on the internet, talking about topics.
Yeah.
How do you view that? I mean, actually, what I'm trying to ask you is, what
How
is
do I
your
see that as a
what
community?
is your concept of community, and why you define that ensemble, of persons, community? I mean, because there might be a lot of words, to just describe that gathering of souls, but you
Okay. Well,
specifically said community, and
yeah.
yeah.
I'm quite happy to clarify my use of that word. Talk about a whole bunch of random people, which is effectively what it is. It's a bunch of random people on the internet discussing on a common topic, yeah, and doing so in a fairly closed group. I mean, you didn't get, for example, somebody from the I can't remember what games people were playing then, but just to bring it up to date, you wouldn't find any of the Battlefield 4 crew coming over and joining the debate. Very rarely. And the people that were in debates, they would rarely go off and sort of, be part of some Minecraft or, 7 Days to Die community as such. Well, I say that they do. People, there's a lot of gamers in the Great Debate community. But anyway, getting back to the concept of community,
Okay.
yeah. Um, I found it interesting that you used the word random or randos, people, yeah, random people, as kind of implying a non-community. But if you think about it, a housing estate, yeah, there's a bunch of random people living in close proximity, yeah, and you would call that a community because you'd have a community hall that people from the estate can go to. You've got, community amenities, yeah, the community park where the kids play. So the fact that you've got a bunch of random people that don't know each other from Adam calling themselves a community, that's what communities are. It's a bunch of random people in a closed group, either with a common interest or common goals.
Right.
In the estate example, raising family.
The reason I love what you said, and the reason I asked the question, it's really funny you mentioned, the estate, because that is mostly the same example that I was making at the time. I was actually making the example of a supermarket.
Or a supermarket, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's funny
Any close
because no, it's funny because I was making the very same example, to explain the opposite. What I mean is that I remember that at the time there were a lot of people which were really involved in, with this bunch of persons that they met online, and at times that was my feeling. There were some people that they were putting a lot of, so I don't want to say faith, but they put a lot of weight, on all the persons that were, happening to discuss that topic. And that, sometimes it didn't prove to be the case because people, some people were just there, to talk about the topic, but they were not necessarily wanted to be involved with some persons rather than some other ones. And
Right.
while there were, a group of persons that understood that that dynamic, that scenario, there were some people which were really involved in all of that, and they felt really bad where some people were not retaliating the same level of affection that they had, so
Yeah.
that is,
I know exactly where you're going with that.
right.
And everybody's favorite at some point in their YouTube dalliances or excursions or whatever, will come across the name Thunderfoot.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, honest to
do, do,
God,
do, do you remember?
no, no, I remember, but I wasn't even thinking about that. But that is a brilliant example. Yeah, go ahead. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Now
perfect.
he did a video, yeah, and it was called "A House Divided Against Itself Cannot Stand." And he basically put out this ridiculous notion that all atheists should stand together, right or wrong, in the face of an onslaught by the theists or
Right.
whoever.
Yeah.
And that was just, the face palm doesn't really cover the reaction that I had for that. And I wasn't alone. Thank
Yeah.
everything digital.
Right.
You know, I wasn't alone in that because I'm sorry, but you look at the greatest debating chambers in the world, and you have got some humdinger stand-up discussions go on, and those institutions are stronger than granite.
Right.
Yeah, look at Oxford as a case in point. Yeah, Oxford debating, um, Oxford debating teams, and the Oxford debating thing is it's an institution that's lasted for centuries and is going just as strong today as it ever has been. Um, and yeah, it wouldn't exist if you didn't have opposing opinions and opposing ideas
Right.
being discussed. So, no, in a debate community, you do not have this lockstep tribal mentality because, well, do I really have to explain how we've seen that go so badly wrong in the last 5 years politically? Yeah.
No,
I
no, it's
mean,
it.
people siding with people for no other reason than they're on the left or on
Right.
the right.
No, no, but
And that's ridiculous.
it's fine you clarified that. You know what I meant to say before, and actually if I thought about it a little bit better, I might have said it more clearly. Is that there was this common misconception, again, in my opinion, that belonging to that community it automatically implied that everybody in that community were friends, which is preposterous. It
No,
would be,
yeah,
and that's exactly the example I was making. Listen, I mean, if when you go in a supermarket, you find a bunch of people which are actually interested in that particular chain of supermarket. And if somebody says, "Oh, why don't everybody in this supermarket right now are friends?" I mean, they will probably call the ambulance and
probably cart
put
you
you
off in a
in.
straitjacket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Okay, so
yeah.
no,
But see, that's why I chose the example of an estate
yes, no, it's I mean, it
because
is perfect. I mean, I think you clarified really, really perfect because for a moment I thought you were going the other way. Yeah, but it's fine. It's fantastic.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, in a community, I mean, hell, Cub Scouts when I was growing up, that was a community. And there were some of the kids that went to the same scout hall that I did that I detested with a passion, and they detested me. So even a community in the sense of all pulled together,
right.
yeah, you're never going to get on with everybody
Yeah. Okay.
ever.
We are totally on the same page. Another quick question. So I actually have two of them. Let me see which one I want to ask you before. Okay, let's go with this one because it's a little bit because you might answer to the second one in your free questions.
Right?
I mean, of course, we've all met irritating persons, in this conversation and stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm being super polite because some of them were real, piece of shit.
fuck it. I'll say
Yeah.
it.
What did irritate you the most? Was it the persons or the topics / arguments that some persons were, putting forth?
Ooh, you're good. You're good. Eddie. You're good.
That's
Yeah,
what she said, but yeah.
yeah. Well, that's between you and Bob. Um, I don't want to know. Um, yeah, I did not think I would find myself talking about this in this particular interview. I suppose I should have realized that it would come up. Um, the thing that irritates me the most is probably attitude. Um, for example, somebody who is so convinced that they are right that they display an unwanted arrogance and confidence in the argument that they're making. Um, and I'm sure there's people watching this who already know the exchange that I alluded to. But there is this concept, and unfortunately, it is still going around, and it is still prevalent, and that is that the theist-atheist debate is a debate that basically is on a binary um, binary is based on a binary set of positions. You either believe or you don't believe. If you believe, you're a theist of some description, theist. Um, if you don't believe, then you're an atheist of some description. And whilst I'm a firm believer that people are free to define themselves however they choose, yeah? If you feel, for example, and this is one of the bones of contention, academically speaking, for me, if you maintain that your lack of belief, your lack of conviction in somebody's argument towards theism is enough to make you an atheist, that's fine. That works for you. That's how you want to identify. That's great. Similarly, if you're of the disposition that absolutely, definitively, there are no gods, it's not a thing, it does not real, and you call yourself an atheist, that also is fine. Yeah? But people conflate this and say, okay, it's a binary set. You're either a theist or you're an atheist. Sorry, no, you're not. People say the default position is atheism because babies lack a belief. They don't have a belief. No, they don't know shit. They know fuck all. They haven't even entertained the question. So how can you impose upon them a position? Yeah? So the default state is, I don't know if I believe or not. Convince me one way or the other. That's the default position. And Simos, love him to death. Simos and I and I've forgotten his I've forgotten his first name, but Richardson, Randolph Richardson.
Yeah.
Randolph Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Randolph Richardson.
Yeah.
We banged this out for a couple of hours. They didn't convince me, and I didn't convince them. But the thing is, there is such a thing as internal consistency, and if an argument is internally consistent, it's a good argument. Even if it's wrong, it's a good argument. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a binary set. And back in the day, I had this back and forth with somebody. We're getting to the point. Back and forth with somebody over a number of videos. And essentially, I broke the back of this binary set that they were so married to, and they hated me for it. Now, I couldn't understand the personal animosity.
Mm-hmm.
I bore none towards her. But the attitude, that irritated me.
Okay. Fantastic. So, as you know, we try to keep it short because, attention span on the internet, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And also because, if so, my rationale was okay, if people find, this interesting, they'll be left, with wanting more. If they get bored, they would say, thank God it's over. I don't think that it's going to be the case for this one because, this is bloody brilliant.
Oh, we're scratching the surface.
No. I mean, I'm dead serious. I'm serious as a heart attack. So this is the last part of this conversation. Which, man, that made.
Oh, you're going to throw my questions at me now, aren't
Yes. We have now 3 questions. It's the question that I ask my guest to send me, and those are questions that he wants me to ask him. Somebody already read through my cunning scheme. You are one of them, but I think it's a good approach. So fuck it. You sent me 3 questions, and I read them I'm gonna read them in the order that you gave it to me, or do you have, because you have made a change at the very last moment. So
I did, yes.
So
I did, mate.
do you want me the last one that you changed to be the last question, or
No,
okay?
to be perfectly honest, you can ask them in any order that you like. I listed
Um,
them in
I'm gonna ask them in the order that the person
entirely up to you.
sends to me. So, okay, first question. Why did you agree to this interview?
Curiosity, to be perfectly honest. I've known you for a long time, and I was curious as to the sort of things that you would ask me, given our shared history on YouTube. And you did not disappoint. Let me tell you that.
That okay? I gotta ponder on that question. I love where it's going, and yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So, is there any more you want to add to that? Is it?
Also, I suppose, yeah. There's again curiosity, how I would answer those questions.
Okay.
Because I've actually learned a little bit about myself this evening, believe it or not. That's
Right.
always fun.
Okay. So, second question, and this is actually okay. I have no idea what it is, but maybe you explain it to me.
Oh,
What's
wait.
what's a wub? Is it right?
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
okay? What's a wub when it's at home? And
okay. Well,
yeah,
the when it's at home bit, that's just an Anglicanism. That's the British affectation.
yeah, because they have no fucking idea what's a wub. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's the question.
Oh
What is
yeah.
a pub? What is a pub? Okay, well, it's complicated, but it's not. Wub, it's there's a word for it when things sound like their name, and I've forgotten what that term is.
It will come to me. I
Yeah,
know. I know
it'll
what
come
you're
to
talking
me as well, probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But a wub is one of those things. It's the sound that you get from various bass lines, particularly synth bass lines.
Mm-hmm.
Kazoom hates EDM, but he does love some of the stuff that I've done, putting him to wubs. It covers dubstep, it covers glitch hop, it covers any genre of music that's got step or dub or things like that. It covers reggae dub.
Mm-hmm.
It covers a lot of ambient music, believe it or not. I've played on my show. I've played things going back as far as Kraftwerk, because some of their synth stuff is bass heavy. So that's the long answer. The short answer is a wub is something is a piece of music where the emphasis is on the bass.
Okay. Okay. So the third question, and maybe on the third question, you want to talk about the project that you've been, keeping on for quite some years, because we haven't talked about it, but you have a very good radio show, which goes on the internet. But again, it's up to you how you want to answer. I mean, it's also not your question, so fuck me. So the third question is: Has B still lost his mic privilege?
For those curious, that's B right there. And he's on license. He's on parole at the moment. Yes, we haven't. We've danced around the project, the Wub Factor, which is the show well, amongst other shows that I do on the radio station now. And I have to say, it's a lot of fun. I love doing radio. I probably love doing radio more than I used to enjoy doing these video back and forth type things on YouTube. I miss the editing. I miss just playing game on a stream whilst people argue shit like, the Friday fail. So I might start streaming again. I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on. It might be YouTube. We both. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But my main project at the moment is Wolfman. It's a great little station. It is growing in popularity.
Sorry, can you repeat the name of the project? Because again, it just, I think it was maybe just me. So you
Okay. My personal project is the Wub Factor. That's the show that I do. The station that I do it on is called Wolfman Radio. And you can stick a .co.uk or a .com on the end of that, and it'll take you to the website. We have a 24/7 broadcast schedule. In the evenings and weekends, we have live shows, and by live shows, I mean there's a presenter, and there's chat room for interactions and stuff like that. But for a couple of years now, I've been wanting to bring that to YouTube. We do have a Wolfman Radio YouTube channel, and I intend to get into negotiations with YouTube, because our license does actually permit us to live broadcast anywhere on the internet. That would include YouTube. So it's just a case of making sure that we are added to the exceptions on the content matching algorithm that just kicks people off when they play copyrighted stuff.
Right.
That's what that's all about.
And why did B lost his big privilege? I mean, I'm curious to know. It's
Basically,
been naughty.
Well, yeah, he was interjecting his opinions into the show, and inappropriately time, and I just figured I had to pull the plug on him for a while. I think it's done him some good. He's got a better temperament these days, which is good to see.
Okay. So, Brian, this has been super for me. Really super. Because, as you said, we've been knowing for quite some time. We have some history together. We have some, we went through some stuff together. And to me, it was really, really cool and really great for you to join this stuff. And I mean,
Yeah, it's fun.
it is also true that, the only reason why I asked you is the same reason I asked Christopher. I asked Christopher because I wanted to interview Shanna, and I asked you because I want to interview Vic. But, that is beyond the point, So here it is. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, now it's over. I think we reached, the allotted time. Of course, people, if you like, subscribe to the channel. Go check out wolfmanradio.co.uk, where you find Brian.
Friday night at midnight, UK.
Yeah. So please like, subscribe. Send money to me and to whatever you want, and we will have click to everything. And yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
If I didn't care more than words can say, if I didn't care, would I feel this way?